busy.
How about you?
Yeah, pretty busy.
Yeah, COVID hasn't slowed things down. Just a few areas I would see a little bit slow down, but on the whole, it's been,
Yeah.
Tom had to help me. Tom had to help you?
I told her we'll have to start coming early every meeting just to help her hook her computer up, I
Well,
guess.
I couldn't, for some reason, I guess the projector wasn't on, so it was on and it wasn't on and it came back on, so I don't know if it just had, you know.
Now you're the lady in Dallas, right?
Oh, no.
So did Molly call you
Again this afternoon?
after yesterday?
No, I tried to get hold of her. I didn't hear from her.
Tyrone said we couldn't accept it, so.
We can or can't?
No, I didn't.
According to Molly, you said we can't accept it.
Oh, cannot.
Cannot.
Not conditionally?
Cannot. No.
Not even conditionally?
I mean, you, until you satisfy the condition, you don't have anything you can move forward with.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. We called Mr. Rainey. Do you know John Rainey?
No.
As long as you've been here in town, Mr. Rainey was president of Lamar Bank back when it was over there in South End years ago. So this is some property he owned, I guess rental property, whatever. So we called him today, and Molly thinks the services go out the side through the lots into the deal. Mr. Rainey says his cleanouts are out in the front. He's gonna get his plumber to come mark everything. So we're gonna look at it. I'm just trying, this gentleman, he's gotta be in his late 80s, mid 80s. He's just trying to get rid of some property. So now we'll just have to wait a whole another month.
Well,
So-
it hasn't been decided yet, so I'd say if you can get it marked, you can prove that that's not it and satisfy Molly that that's not where it is, then we could come back and reverse that in the meeting, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to get an answer before the meeting. Yes, I am. But I won't have that for her to review. Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. But
Just get hold of Molly. If she calls us or emails us and says that, you know, she's been satisfied by what
Yeah.
she's seen and that she's
Yeah.
good.
okay, well we're trying.
If there's a way for you to satisfy it, then you can put a condition on it, subject to your being able to resolve it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna try to resolve it. That's what I told her. I said, we'll get an easement in there one way or the other. I just don't know whether I can have it found by, and redone and signed by him by, when's our meeting?
A week from Monday?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Not quite 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're trying. I mean, he was supposed to call his plumber out and get the plumber to come out and mark some stuff, and we're gonna try to figure it
It's
out.
his fault though.
That's what I do, man. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like I told the council, if you don't want me to do it, just tell me.
Well,
It'd be your trouble.
yeah, well,
Are you Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes, sir.
We're waiting on one more board member to have a quorum.
Take your time, no rush.
I know, we're gonna wait next time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, right.
You're serious.
But that's always.
I raised Daddy when he came in.
What are you gonna do when you're wearing a mask, right?
Yeah.
so, yeah, so she explained to her what she wants. I just gotta figure out what the sewer lines are. But apparently Mr. Rain thinks the houses go out towards campus. He said that's where his cleanouts are. The old commercial building, yeah, it goes across, he said, to the outlet. So we'll have to find that line. And his plumber's supposed to come out and mark it.
Okay.
So we'll just have to create this easement across that lot, but it's the other two little houses, you know. If we find that his services do go out to the front, which Molly doesn't think they do, if they go out to the front, then we're okay on those two houses. So it's just an oddity.
Are
I
there
don't think
existing
you can-
structures where you're doing a replat?
Yes, sir. There's three. It's right there at the corner of Campus and Highland Avenue. It used to be an old bike shop when I lived out there and went to
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Wasn't it an old bike shop right there kind of across from the high school?
Yeah.
Well, there's a bike shop on faces Highland. Well, over on campus, there's two little old wooden houses, little frame houses that Mr. Rainey and his dad, so that's how long ago, way back in the 50s, apparently have owned this property. He wants to sell each of those houses. He's just trying, he's at the age, he just needs to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got a buyer for each house, and somebody's gonna buy the house in that old commercial building. I don't know whether the old commercial building's worth anything. And that's what Molly saw when she reviewed it, you know.
Well, she thought the lines were running under one of the houses.
She thinks they may be, that's what we've
Yeah.
gotta find out, but Mr. Rainey thinks that both of them run out toward the front to campus.
Okay.
So we'll see,
Yeah.
we'll see,
Of course, the horse
just those fun things to do. There's probably a slip line project that Jeff worked on, that's what I'm gonna say.
That's
South End?
It was slip line in '09. Did y'all do some
No.
slip lining?
No, we did some work in the South End in the eighties.
Ah.
that would take the blame off. Don't do that.
That's what I was,
Prior to
I can't
slip
put my
line.
finger in
I was telling Molly yesterday when I was still in school at Lamar, Francis and I got married and as I was finishing up, and we rented a little house that faced Highland Avenue, and they were reconstructing Highland Avenue. That's how long when I lived in that little old house. So I told her, I can remember them reconstructing the streets out there, but
Mhm.
when they widened Highland, that was something.
Wow. So you said Joey's supposed to be coming? Yes.
Yeah.
That commercial he has on TV, he's generating all that cleaning
Who
business.
was our
Have
maybe?
you seen him on that deal, the commercial on
Who was the
TV?
maybe?
His business, they're going around with this
She
auger
got a
looking thing,
hearing, so she was probably.
cleaning businesses for COVID.
There's a phone right here.
I'm coming around to it, I can't quite reach the button.
Oh,
It moves.
Yeah,
No,
he's on a
okay.
commercial
I'll
on
move
TV
next
now.
time.
Saw it last night, we
wanna
were
be
doing
up
something
here
that came on,
on
I was
stage.
like, where's Joey?
Hey, this is Kathy Allen, this is Beaumont, how are you? Good, we are waiting on you for the Board of Adjustments, are you on the way? Okay. Okay. Thank you. It's on the way.
okay. Thank you.
And it's got the little thing for the nose and it's sticking out on the side over here.
Oh, it's this extra filter in there.
Okay.
They just virus could pass through and be finished, and it's been so bad.
What's that?
Think that virus ever pass over and be finished up? It's bad, the virus, man.
I am ready for all of this to be
It's
passed.
like the phone.
Yes.
And it has
Man.
in the wrong place.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see how the confusion happened there. That was before me. I don't know who decided to make those last back lots going east-west instead of north-south. As far as the addressing goes, but all it did was confuse things. So,
Okay, well, I'll get that. Well, I did learn. So it's going to fall.
28.
Something like that. It's coordinated on.
Yeah. Yeah, the 28th is the cutoff for September.
Okay. Cause I've got possibly 3. Maybe 3 this year. It's crazy.
You know, we're all gonna be going crazy the first 2 weeks of September. Absolutely nuts. So if you think the city of Beaumont has lost its mind in the beginning of September, you're probably right. We're going live on CityWorks.
Oh, okay.
So
So that is happening?
and we don't have, because of COVID and everything, their company won't send their agents here. So we're all gonna be trying to do it.
Okay.
We'll have a video conference up that we can run in and talk to them on, but, like a Zoom thing, where we can run in maybe see as we talk to them about whatever problems we're having, but we won't have somebody to come in and sit there with us and show us anything. So, we're gonna be doing nuts.
And that's what you're saying here today, that all your students will have to do, all the permits.
Everything's gonna come through there, all the specific use permits, plats, everything's gonna come through there now.
Plastic.
You'll have to deliver originals on some things, but, I mean,
All flats will have to have the original.
yeah, you gotta have the original signatures, we gotta, you know, so there will be some things that'll have to be dropped off at the front
Yeah.
counter,
Yeah.
but everything else will have to be submitted online.
Okay.
Payments all online.
Really? So what about your final piece of the county, what bring that check to?
That'll have to be dropped off, I guess, with the plat.
With the flag, your payment, your fee will be
Will
on,
be online.
but that check
Yeah,
for
the
the
Jefferson
county,
County one, you'll have to bring that with the class.
it's the same one.
And the tax certificate, anything that goes to the county will have to come to us and be dropped off, because that's the only way we'll be able to turn around and give it to the county.
Well, is the tax certificate signed originally by anybody?
Yeah,
It's
it's
an
an
original.
original tax certificate.
It's an original
But they
from
won't take it if it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's one of those, they charge you, what, $10, $15
It's
for the tax?
$10, $10.
And then they charge you $10 to take it back. The county charges you $10 to give it to you, and then you have to walk over to another office in the county and pay them $10 to take it back. There he is.
Sorry.
No problem.
Here, I'll slide over one more. Not a problem.
Thank you. Sorry, I do apologize.
Glad you're here. So we'll call the meeting to order. Ask you to call the roll, please.
Chairman Tamaeus is absent. Board Member Beaver,
Here.
Board Member Hilliard,
Here.
Board Member Rowe,
Here.
Board Member Smith.
Here.
First item is to approve the minutes of the June 18th, 2020 meeting. Has everybody reviewed the minutes? And if so, are there any comments or revisions? If none, is there a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
All in favor of approval of the minutes, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Before we do the swearing in of the witnesses, Mr. LeBlanc, I want to let you know there's just 4 board members here today. And if a full board would be 5, but since there's just 4, it'll take a unanimous vote of the board to approve your request. with that, if you would prefer to postpone it to the next month's meeting and hope that we'd have 5 members, you're welcome to do that. If you want to go forward, just let us know and we'll go forward.
Then we can go forward.
Okay, so at this time, we'll have Ms. Allen swear in witnesses. That'd be anybody that's going to speak for or against the items that are on our agenda today. The only item we have is file 757 BA. So,
Stand and raise your right hand.
Mr. LeBlanc, are you going to want to speak today?
They'll be sworn in.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So the first item is file 757 BA, consider request to allow a variance to the minimum rear yard setback from 25 feet to 4 feet and the minimum exterior side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet. We'll hear the staff report.
Okay, good afternoon. Albert LeBlanc is requesting a variance to the rear setback and the exterior side setback for the property located at 2250 Angelina Street. The property is zoned RMH, which is residential multifamily high density, and therefore requires a 25-foot rear setback and a 10-foot exterior side setback. That's because he's on a corner. Minimum lot size for RMH districts is 50 by 100. The subject property lot size is approximately 50 foot by 80 foot, as it is irregularly shaped, as will be shown in the slideshow. The applicant states that in order to build the house he needs for his family, a variance to the minimum yard setbacks is required because of the lot size. The property is also located in the Oaks Historic District. The applicant previously applied for permission to build a house here and was approved. The applicant shall have the burden of proof to demonstrate that all 3 conditions necessary for approval have been met, and you'll find those in your staff report. 15 notices were mailed. I received 1 in favor and 0 in opposition. So this is the subject property. It does sit on this corner. Across the street to the west is like a park area. And then to the right, I'm not sure if that swing set's very close to that property line. So I don't know if that'll have to be moved or not, but he has a house to the right also. Or the east, I should say. This won't work. Thank you. This just shows an aerial view of the property. As you can see in the rear, it does make an irregular shape in the rear. And then the site plan that was submitted showing the setbacks that he's requesting. That's just a view to the west. That's the park, and that's a view to the east. Thank you, Adina.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, I mean,
Thank you. Can you go back to the slide with the dimensions on it as far as the setbacks?
That one?
Yes.
How many letters were mailed?
15, and we received 1 in favor and 0 in opposition.
So my question is, and I'm not sure if it's for you or for Mr. LeBlanc, just real quick on this one. So the 4 foot, is that a patio slab that we're seeing, or is that part of the house?
That's a patio.
Patio, okay.
That's 6.5.
It's,
That 6.5 doesn't look right.
it's an incorrect dimension.
Maybe it's 4 feet from that corner up to where it would hit that rear portion where it says 6'6". No, from here.
From the closest corner, I can't
Maybe
reach
it's
it,
from here
to that
to
corner.
here.
It scales about 7
4
feet, plus or minus.
7 feet? Maybe that's 16 feet then?
That's probably, yeah, closer to,
Look at the 21 and a half, so the 21 and a half line, Jeff?
16 feet, 6 inches would
Mhm.
probably be pretty close, but.
Yeah.
So I guess what I wanted to clarify is that we were, if we grant the 4 foot, that's for that,
Yeah, you don't need to.
for the patio and not for the actual building
Because
itself.
what you really need is to this point here,
Mhm.
this point here.
So I guess we could come back to that if we need to, but Mr. LeBlanc, would you like to say anything about your application? Or
What, yeah, sure.
if you would state your name for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Albert LeBlanc, and as far as like the other letters that was mailed out to the neighborhood, some of the people that live in the neighborhood, they were unable to send in their letters to the city because they had the wrong fax number and didn't have the email to send it to. So I have a couple of them in my hand that I went to go pick up personally from them to turn it in as well.
And they were all in
Yes.
in favor.
That's just 3 of them.
Three of them?
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Yes.
He can leave those with staff, I believe.
Yeah, we weren't given those.
Okay. So,
So it's a total of 4 in favor, 0 in opposition.
okay. So, I just, assuming we approve this, we're approving it for this drawing here, which, the 4 feet would be not the building, but the actual patio.
Mr. LeBlanc, do you know how long your building is on that long side? Do you know how many feet that long side on that post house is? Do you remember?
On the right side?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure. Let me pull up my plan on my phone.
Yeah, if you got your plans on your phone, then it's right. That's what Mr. Biggers is asking.
I would bet that's supposed to be 16 feet, 6 inches, that dimension.
Right.
Do the setbacks apply to patios or just to the structure itself?
Structure. And we do occasionally, like if it was, 4 feet or 3 feet 8 inches or something that he was asking for, we might say 4 feet, cause it gives him a couple of inches of wiggle room. But it's hard to figure out what it should be at this location, so.
It's
Well,
about 49.
49,
So about patio,
49 and
do you
25.
mean that-
From the garage, from the right side to the back of the house, about 49 feet.
Is it a covered patio?
74,
Yes.
least
74 off of that
Leave
is
16.
Okay.
16.
It is a covered patio.
Covered
As a covered patio,
Is-
that would be what we're measuring.
Okay, then the 4 feet would be correct.
4 feet, good.
Does anybody else have any more questions for Mr. LeBlanc? Okay.
I just have one thing. It's always nice to see a person trying to make the neighborhood look good and also doing some things for your family, which is great.
Right.
And that's all I have.
Okay, that clearing up the patio will be covered, I think, clears up my concern.
I mean, like I said, I believe it uncovered to me. It don't matter. You know, the patio part.
That was just, it's
Do y'all
just
need
confusion.
any
Okay.
discussion?
Well, just among us, I'm concerned, I mean, that 5 foot, you know, that 10 foot's there for that side line on that side street. You know, you go to that intersection. Ordinance, the 10 foot, I mean, show me back that picture, where you just shows that intersection with the county from the what kind of front on
The front, the very first one.
that one? Well, this being 5 foot, I mean,
Well,
that sight line's gonna be,
if you look at this one, you can see, well, that fence is out, it depends on whether everything's slid over. And I don't think
wow.
it really is. You have to kind of look at this drawing. So that fence goes out past,
Past that line.
okay, see this fence?
Right.
Mhm.
It's sticking out past the property line. And everything may be slid one way or the other a little bit, but not as much as that would extend past the property line. So 5 feet back in this way is still gonna be that far.
Yeah.
Plus the
further
extra space.
out.
And you have stop signs here, so.
Do we know the 25-foot setback, that's what is required on the front, so we're good
The
there?
front and the rear, yes.
Typically, that's what's required.
It is, yeah.
Tom, you got any other
In our-
thoughts or?
So the
No, I
property
mean-
line is really probably right in here somewhere.
Mhm.
That fence.
And then the house will be 5 feet inside
5
of
feet
that.
in from that, so back over in here
Oh, yeah.
somewhere.
Well off the street.
Yeah.
He's well off the street.
Everything's that's good. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
well, I mean, the whole reason that 10 is there by code is for visibility when you come into that intersection to make that turn, that's all. At least there's no trees and stuff in the way that makes sight lines tough.
The house is an extra 30 feet, 6 inches from the front on that side too, which adds a little bit more visibility, so.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, the house is cut back, yeah.
Mhm.
The house isn't all the way up at the, 25 foot.
What's that?
If it's the left side of the house, it'll be sitting further back, because the garage is at the 25-foot setback mark.
Yes.
Right, that's what we're looking at. So what I'm talking about is when somebody's coming in to make this turn,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to see past your house, you know, the closer you get to that property line,
Right.
you know, just the harder to kind of see as you make that turn, if somebody comes in to make that right turn.
Yeah, it's a lot of space on that side. You know,
Sir?
like I said, there's a lot of space on that side, like you mentioned, where that fence is at. Yeah, it's a lot of space on that side.
But with the house, what Jeff was saying, with the house being set back, you get a little bit more visibility
Right.
into that turn.
Right.
Do I hear a motion on file 757BA?
Make a motion, we approve file 757BA.
I second that.
Any other discussion? If not, would you call the roll for a vote?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before we move on, do we have anybody down in the room
Oh.
waiting to speak if we open a public hearing?
Not that we're aware of.
Nobody was asked to go down the hall.
Okay. You might want to just open your public hearing just in the event that somebody is wanting to speak.
Yes, sir.
We don't have anybody here, but
It's
That's it.
streaming in there, so they'll hear
it's
it.
streaming, yeah. You want to make sure your record's complete.
Okay, before we take a vote on, if there's anybody else that would like to speak on this file, please let us know. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote.
Board Member Beaver,
I'm for the motion.
Board Member Hilliard,
For the motion.
Board Member Rowe,
Or
and Board Member Smith.
For.
The motion passes. Is there any other business? Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Good.
Thank you.
So good luck.
Again,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Yeah.
That's all. You got it done.
Got your business, huh, boss?
yeah, I got